Okay. Does life begin at fertilization or conception? I'm assuming conception would mean implantation
Yes.
into the womb.
I never even thought about this as an issue until recently. I was discussing abortion with someone who I don't think was a believer. And I said that's another reason that Christians have a hard time with the morning after pill, because we believe it's an abortifacient. And they're like, no, it's not, because the egg has not been the fertilized egg has not been implanted yet, so there's no abortion. I'm like, I hadn't even heard it that way before. So the question then is, okay, wait a minute, does life happen at when we've been saying for decades, Christians, life begins at conception. But by conception, we mean when the egg is fertilized. But now medical community is making a distinction between fertilization and implantation and calling that conception. So I believe life is conceived at fertilization. You've got the components of the male, you've got the components of the female together. They fertilize the egg. You now have a new independent life. Now, sometimes that life doesn't go anywhere. Sometimes it doesn't implant. Sometimes it ends up in a tubular pregnancy, all that stuff. But all of that's up to God, not up to us. So my opinion, and this is my opinion, okay, I believe that is a human life at fertilization, whether it implants in the womb or not properly. There's all kinds of things that go wrong. Doesn't mean it's not a life. See, where they want to change the discussion is if it's viable, it's life. Well, how many people go to kidney dialysis twice a week? They're not viable without the kidney dialysis. They will die. Does that mean they're not a human life? How many people are on a ventilator for breathing, and if you unplug it, they'll die? Does that mean they're not a person because they're not viable without it? So just because a baby is not viable without an umbilical cord until like so many months, doesn't mean it's not a human being. And the question is, well, if it's not a human life, what is it? It's alive. And where did it come from? It comes from humans. So what kind of life is it? It's a human life. So my opinion is from fertilization, now that we have to make that distinction.
And at fertilization, it does have its own unique DNA. That's when the
That's
haploids
exactly it.
combine and they make their own DNA.
That's it. In fact, I was listening to a podcast yesterday talking about how the Supreme Court took one doctor's opinion and came up with the whole idea of trimesters and said, okay, we're not going to get involved in the first. We will regulate the second, and we'll outlaw the third. And it's like, why divide it into three? Why not divide it in 9 months pregnancy? Why not have ninths? Why not have fourths? Whatever. And it just randomly, arbitrarily, we came up with trimesters. There's not like all of a sudden, look at the baby the first time. Oh my gosh, look at the third. It's like, there's no dramatic difference. It's incredibly gradual and rapid. 3 trimesters is just a construct of the medical community. They could have picked any number.